again!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right, on the show today, Shubman Gill is set to fly back home to Mumbai, is ruled out of the second test against South Africa. Pant will take charge. What can we expect after the setback India had in that first test in Kolkata? Small nations punch up to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. Monumental stories coming out, but will US President Donald Trump prove to be the speed bump in their dream journey? And looks like a bored Magnus Carlsen wants to have some fun. But at what cost? He rakes up the Jeangate controversy that rocked the chess world all over again, taunting FIDE once more. But first, the look at the headlines. Starting with Formula One, seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton's first title is under threat. The Britain's 2008 driver's title is the subject of a legal action. Former Brazilian driver Felipe Massa's $83 million lawsuit against FIA might go to trial. Massa lost the title by 1 point after Nelson Piquet Jr. supposedly deliberately crashed at the Singapore Grand Prix. In cricket and the Ashes, 19 wickets fell on day one of the first test in Perth. Batting first, England were bowled out for 172 on a green top. Pace spearhead Mitchell Starc picked up 7 wickets, his career best in a single innings. Australia, in reply, were reduced to 123 for 9 at the end of day's play. Ben Stokes picked up 5 wickets for England. The hosts trail by 49 runs. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe stunned Sri Lanka by 67 runs in the second game of the ongoing tri-series in Pakistan. Put into bat first, Captain Sikandar Raza's 47 powered Zimbabwe to 162. Sri Lanka were bowled out in response for just 95. Brad Evans picked up 3 wickets. On to tennis and the Davis Cup, Germany bounced back to beat Argentina to enter the semi-final. After being 1 down, Alexander Zverev launched Germany's recovery as he beat Francisco Cerundolo 6-4, 7-6. The match was forced to a doubles decider. The Germans missed 4 match points before clinching victory in the 5th. They will now face Spain. And summing it up with world boxing, India concluded the tournament with 20 medals and a top-of-the-table finish. This included 9 gold, 6 silver and 5 bronze medals. The likes of Nikat Zareen, Jasmine and Meenakshi topped the podium. Uzbekistan finished second. There's a quiet tension settling around the Indian cricket team as they get ready to take on South Africa in the second test starting tomorrow. It's happening in Guwahati. There's no Shubman Gill, and you'll have yet another captain, a new test captain at the helm. And the pitch is in the center of it all again. Plus, India is staring down a scoreline that needs levelling. So what can we expect over the next few days and what's brewing in the two camps? Now let's first get to the conditions that hogged the limelight in that first test in Kolkata. The match lasted less than 3 days, just about. A track and venue that's known for its pace and producing good even contests really challenged the batting. And India fell woefully short, with experts raining down on the Indian management for botching it all up and not getting it right once more. But the Indian coaching staff has now come out saying that while Gambhir took the onus of that cracked pitch onto himself, this was not the kind of surface they wanted, nor was it what they expected.
I'm telling you the truth. No one wanted it to be like this. From the second day itself, the wicket became too dry. You can ask the curator. No one has said that the match should be over in 2 days.
Seems like damage control. The coach, however, was also quick to admit India did not play the better cricket over the course of that test and hence the defeat. But cut to a few days on, we're poised for the second test to begin. It's a must-win scenario and it's at a venue that's never hosted an international test match ever. Welcome to Guwahati. And what we hear is that the soil being used here is the red soil, so naturally a little bounce and carry can be expected. And from the pictures that we are seeing of that strip that is to be used, it's a green tinged surface that's waiting for the two teams. The curator ideally has to put forward a pitch that will produce a result, and a solid contest, one that will last for more than 3 days between bat and ball. And the hope is that this one should, which may see India dropping one of the spinning options, possibly Akshar Patel, and coming in with someone like a Nitish Reddy for that quick pace in his place. But that's probably not the primary concern here for India. The biggest worry is the absence of their young captain Shubman Gill, after he got injured during the first innings of that Kolkata test. And you know Gill's absence means a two-person replacement, because you don't just need another captain, you need another top-order batter too. Sai Sudarshan is likely to be included in his place, and Vice-Captain Rishabh Pant is likely to will lead the side. Now, obviously, the one way to look at this is this. India has the personnel and the bench strength to ride out the tough patches like what this presents. Their talent pool runs deep. But why has it come to this in the very first place itself is my question, which brings me back to what we told you before the start of the series itself. The pressures and the workload that's piling on someone like Shubman Gill. Is he truly ready for all of this? To lead two formats and feature in all three all right through the year. It's a packed year, and then you throw in the IPL, the Indian Premier League as well, it's no room to breathe, physically, emotionally and mentally. And we've just witnessed one consequence of that in the limited time frame that he's held up his deal for so far. So Team India and coach Gautam Gambhir have a few areas of concern to address, irrespective of how this match and series pans out. No mixed signals need to be sent out. Have a clear vision and a plan in place for the next few years, starting now. Solid communication, clear-cut communication, expectations and role definition is important, especially when you know that this is a team in transition. The issue is not the team faltering or them losing, while that's also has to be addressed. You will certainly expect them to, though, as they are adjusting and getting used to the changing times. The issue is what is the solutions that are being provided and whether the thinking is truly fueling India's roadmap ahead. This here is a moment India can truly turn things around from. You only have to go back and think of that 34 all-out against Australia and the way they came right back to script something memorable, especially with injuries and absentees all stacked up. They fought the odds. While the personnel here today have all dramatically changed from that squad back then, the Indian dressing room still has always boasted of prioritizing passion and hunger to win. And that's what they will have to tap into right here when they head into test number 2. The 2026 FIFA World Cup, it's around the corner, and President Donald Trump wants it to be the grandest ever. But ironically, this tournament may end up being remembered for something completely different, the smallest stories. Because this is the first World Cup where some of the tiniest nations on the planet, smaller than some Indian cities, even Indian towns, have fought their way to football's biggest stage. Cape Verde, Curacao, Panama, and the hardship stories, Haiti, DR Congo, tales of survival, grit, diaspora dreams and pure footballing miracles. But even after rewriting history, the battle isn't over, because next, waiting with its arms crossed, is America and Donald Trump's very strict policies. The 2026 edition is the first ever 48-team World Cup, which meant 16 new teams would have a shot at history. And what happened during the qualification cycle is a story so wild you'd think it was scripted to the T. 4-time champions Italy, not even qualified yet. Nigeria, the African powerhouse, knocked out. Chile, regulars of global football, facing the exit door. Spotlight shifted towards the countries with populations so small you could fit the entire nation inside a mid-sized Indian district. Because this World Cup might have more David versus Goliath stories than any before it. Take Cape Verde, a nation younger than the modern FIFA World Cup, a country that turned 50 less than 150 days ago. Population just over 5.5 lakh people. To put that into perspective, every single US state, even Wyoming, has more people than Cape Verde. But on the pitch, they are giants, a football federation formed only in 1982, players scattered across the world but united by one impossible dream. The dual nationality masterclass worked. Their top scorer, Livramento, comes from the Netherlands. Several others from Portugal, France, Spain, but the backbone, The heartbeat is homegrown. Coach Bubista has built this with Cape Verde-born veterans like Virginia and Stopira. Players who at one point started with salaries as low as $230 a month. And today, they've dragged their island into the greatest show on earth. Then comes the smallest of them all, Curacao, an island country with barely 160,000 people and autonomous territory inside the Kingdom of the Netherlands. They tapped into their Dutch Caribbean roots, building a team of players born in Europe but carrying Curacao in their veins. But the real superhero, their manager, Dick Advocaat, a legend, a man who once coached the Netherlands. 2 Dutch coaches were in the running, including Louis van Gaal, yes, the ex-Manchester United manager, but Advocaat somehow called up the Curacao Federation president and convinced them he was the man for the job. He will head into this 3rd World Cup with a passionate fan base backing him all the way. Panama made their debut in 2018, and now with a population of just 4.5 million, they're back for redemption. And yes, the qualification spots opened up because USA, Canada and Mexico qualified automatically as hosts. But Panama still had to fight tooth and nail, and they did. And they're here again, this time more seasoned, more dangerous. We can't miss the heartbreak story here, though they didn't make it. Faroe Islands, a group of 18 islands with a population of around 55,000, a team of complete part-timers, teachers, fishermen, electricians, who came within minutes of qualifying for the World Cup. They lost 1-3 to Croatia, but imagine one more goal, one more moment, and they would have become the most iconic underdog story in World Cup history. But the World Cup isn't only about size, it's about who's carrying the heaviest burden, and no story hits harder than that of Haiti. A nation battling gang violence, political instability, economic collapse, a football team that hasn't trained on home soil for years. Their coach Sébastien Migne, appointed in 2024, has never even stepped foot in Haiti because of security concerns. Yet, they qualified. Their 2nd World Cup, their first since 1974. But here's where football meets politics head-on, because Haitian fans might not even make it to the stadium. Haiti is 2nd on Trump's banned list, which means unless their matches are placed in Mexico or Canada, their fans will watch from home, if they even have electricity. The same applies to Iran, also on Trump's banned list. Maybe making history doesn't guarantee entry into the stands anymore. So here we are, a World Cup built on dreams, with countries and athletes overcoming nightmares to make it there, proving that greatness isn't about population, it's about heart. Facing a unique challenge now, because after all the stadium lights and fireworks, one question will remain: can a World Cup truly be the biggest ever if the smallest nations telling the biggest stories cannot bring their own fans along with them? Because without the people, without the drums, the flags, the travel, the colors, the culture, football isn't football. The players will be there, but the soul of their nations, that will be missing. And that depends on politics, not passion. And that's the underdog battle of it all. The FIDE World Cup may be underway, but the talks have already started about another World Championship, one that isn't till December because world number one Magnus Carlsen has again taken the fight straight to FIDE. Ahead of the upcoming World Rapid and Blitz Championship, Carlsen has gone rogue. He's reopened an old wound. He has reignited Jeangate, the controversy that exposed FIDE's double standards. But why and now? Because Magnus Carlsen, the man who says he's bored of classical chess, needs something else to spice things up. Our next report breaks down all the drama.
Magnus Carlsen, a name synonymous with the sport, a man who commercially, culturally and competitively reshaped modern chess, but is now slowly stepping away from the classical format. Not because he can't dominate it anymore, but because he's bored of it. He wants faster formats, newer challenges and platforms that push creativity. Rapid, Blitz, Chess 960, showdowns, even online events. Carlsen wants adrenaline, not the slow burn of 6-hour classical games. It's one of the reasons he skipped the FIDE World Cup in India this year. But here's the thing, a man whose entire being revolves around chess cannot stay away from the spotlight and attention. Carlsen loves it. He thrives on rivalries, controversies, debates, anything that disrupts the chess establishment. This isn't about a podcast clip or a casual comment about Indian chess. This is bigger, because now Magnus has challenged FIDE again. The Norwegian superstar has reignited Jeangate right before the World Rapid and Blitz Championship. He posted this. This wasn't just a tweet. This was a grenade aimed directly at the chess governing body. Classic Carlsen. Humor, provocation, confidence and a very clear message. I make the rules, not you. To understand what he really means, you need to go back to last year. During the same event, Magnus Carlsen walked in wearing denim jeans. The organizers asked him to change, but Carlsen refused. He was removed from the playing arena. What followed was chaos. The sport's biggest player versus the sport's biggest body. But FIDE buckled under pressure. They changed their dress code rules. They allowed Carlsen to return. And he won the World Blitz Championship anyway and celebrated the victory by wearing jeans. And the Norwegian continued taking shots at them publicly for months. Now, 1 year later, as the event comes around again, Magnus is back for round 2 because he wants to spice things up. Clearly, as in his own words, he's bored of chess, and whenever Magnus is bored, he doesn't just play chess, he creates storylines. Think about it. He says he's done with classical chess, yet he's the first to comment on the Classical World Championship, questioning Gukesh commenting on India's rise. Or take the Esports World Cup in Saudi Arabia, where he silenced a hostile crowd by shushing them after winning. Drama, theatrics, headlines. These things don't happen to Carlsen, he designs them. But the big question now is Magnus Carlsen taking this too far? He's not a newcomer anymore. He's been the face of global chess for more than a decade. Shouldn't he be focusing on setting an example for the next generation? Shouldn't he be showing the importance of respecting tournament rules and governing bodies? Sure, what happened last year was messy, but why escalate it again this year? Why turn the World Championship season into a stage for personal battles? Well, here's the truth. He is the sport's biggest attraction, its most influential voice, and the single chess player who can make something trend globally with just a sentence or a pair of jeans. So as the World Rapid and Blitz Championship approaches, one thing is certain. Carlsen isn't just preparing to win titles, he's preparing to control the narrative, to challenge FIDE's authority, to remind everyone that in modern chess, Magnus Carlsen is the show.
Time for last serve. Iranian girls are breaking barriers with karate. Despite the taboo surrounding female sport in the country, many fans turned up to watch an all-female competition. The narrative surrounding the sport is changing, and so is the spirit of the Iranian women. Take a look. That wraps it up here on First Sports. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on the other side of it. Bye-bye.
I was a revolutionary. I became a ruler. I claimed to protect my people. I terrorized them instead. I built palaces. I started wars. I lost everything. Some called me a defender of Arab pride. History remembers me as a dictator.